Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 360. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
And what is going on, sir? How was your 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, my 2 weeks were they were 2 weeks, all right. Had a fun, interesting travels.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I already forgot it. I wasn't here last week, but just an unfortunate travel incident that kept me from recording last week's podcast.
Yes. I briefly, I didn't go into detail. I just mentioned you had some travel issues, which I think were hysterical.
Well,
honestly.
Oh yeah, oh my God. I was laughing the entire time. I thought my plane was going down.
We all eventually have that moment in the air when we think something like that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, but this one definitely felt real. This one definitely felt real. All the way to we're returning to Los Angeles because we can't get the plane to go faster.
Oh, that's what the issue was?
Oh, I didn't give the story. Okay, so now
not the full story. No, not even to us, in the private chat that we do.
No. So I was on the plane at LAX getting ready to take off and make my way home to New York. And we take off and we're going up, and then all of a sudden we're slowing down and we're turning.
That's what happened.
Literally, like the plane started to level off and then started to head down a little bit. And I'm like, I literally start looking around. I go, oh crap. I was like, here we go.
That skyline's supposed to look a lot smaller.
Yep. But and then you just hear you just hear the engines outside, almost like when you're almost choking an engine.
Yes.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like they were stepping on the pedals so
phenomenal.
hard that the engines were just almost sounded like they were going to overload. So then we start going up again.
Okay.
Then we start going up again, and I'm like, okay. It's like great. And then we start leveling off again. And I'm like, so we were doing a bit of it, we were kind of weaseling our way up to 10,000 feet. And then we fight if they fought their way up to 10,000 feet, and then once we got up there, the plane just felt like it wasn't even moving.
Ooh,
and I'm like,
that's a weird sensation.
Yeah, it was very, because when you're on a plane, you're going 500-600 miles an hour when you're at top speed. You don't feel that. You don't feel that much, but you're moving.
Yeah.
But to sit on a plane that's up in the air that doesn't feel like it's moving, it's very telling. So 5 minutes when we've leveled off, because you're supposed to go higher than that anyway.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we leveled off at 10,000 feet. Then 5 minutes later, the pilot comes on. He's like, in case anybody, in case you guys didn't realize, he's like, we're having trouble getting up to top speed.
It's like, bing, ladies and gentlemen, please put your head between the legs and kiss your butt goodbye.
No, we didn't get that far, but we did get the, if you haven't noticed, the plane's having trouble getting to top speed, at which point I had noticed from takeoff because of what was going on. Yeah. Everybody else was already watching their selected movie, or the woman sitting next to me was sound asleep the entire time. She was literally out cold the second we got on the plane. And then they're like, so we're going to turn around and go back to Los Angeles. We didn't get that far.
I was gonna say, how long was this ordeal?
Well, that whole thing, getting to 10,000 feet took 10 minutes. Literally, it was slow. It felt super slow. And then 5 or 10 minutes later, I guess they needed to get a certain distance out so they can turn around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so all in all, this whole thing took about 45 minutes.
And I can no offense, I can only imagine what you looked like white knuckling it in your seat on that plane.
While everybody else, literally, I'm looking around, the only other people that I saw any slight concern on their faces were the flight attendants, which was making me worse. Because I'm they look worried. I go, I'm definitely worried.
Yep. No, I hear you on that one.
So anyway, we turn around. It took forever to get back to LAX because we were going so slow.
And not only that, it's LAX.
Yeah, well, it's LA. Well, no, I mean, they cleared. I'm assuming they cleared.
Well, they probably, I'm sure, yeah.
But still, because we were going so slow, we were only going because I was sitting in one of those seats where I had the wall in front of me,
Oh, okay.
and the wall has a TV on it, and there's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
map,
Yeah.
and then they have the stats on it. And I was looking at and I'm looking at the speed because they tell you the speed, how far you
Oh,
are
yeah,
from your
yeah,
dead,
yeah.
all that stuff. So I'm looking at the speed, and it's like 277, 253, 260, and I'm like, I was like, I'm just sitting there. I go, just land on the freeway or something. I was like, I don't care. I was like, just put this thing on the ground. So then we eventually made it back.
But
We made it back. We landed safely. Everything was great.
hmm
I get up out of my seat, or they get on the PA system.
yeah.
Oh, and by the way, as we land, right, we hit the ground.
Yeah.
Lady next to me wakes up.
There you go. Oh, she probably and like, oh, we're back in New York. Oh, wow, look at this. Wait a minute.
I didn't even tell her. I was like,
She's still
like,
walking around looking for the Chrysler building.
no. So what happened was, like, we landed, and then the pilot gets on, and he's like, all right, we're back to LAX. He's like, we were having trouble getting up to top speed. Don't worry, we have the mechanics getting on the plane. We'll probably leave again in another 45 minutes.
Oh, that's right. Give it the old college try and let's do it again.
Yeah. So at which point I'm like, to hell you're leaving with me. I get up out of my seat. I go over to the flight attendant, and I'm like, hey, I heard the announcement. I'm not staying on your plane, so I'm going to leave. And they're like, we're going to go talk about, we have to go confer about all of this, and we'll let you know if you can leave. I said, no. I'm getting off your plane. I'm telling you so you can take me off your list, because they had the
they didn't deboard the plane officially.
No, we landed, went back to a gate, and then they were like, oh yeah, we're going to fix this so we can take off.
Okay.
And I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. I'm good. So anyway, flight attendants getting a huddle up in the front by the pilot.
Yeah.
And then I've already got my bags, because
you're just standing there.
Yeah, like I'm literally standing there staring at the door, because I'm watching the door to make sure. I go, if anybody goes over here and tries to shut it, I go, I'm barreling through. So then she comes back over to me. She said, yes, if you would like to get off the plane, you can. I said, I wasn't asking to begin with. Goodbye. And I got off the plane, and then they rebooked me for the next day.
That would have been great if someone like tried tackling you as you got off the plane.
Right? Oh no, like that would have been great if they did, because right now I wouldn't have to work anymore.
What?
Because I would have sued the airline.
Oh, they're very strict on that. You got to listen to what they're doing.
No, yeah, but not with something. I don't think with something like that. It's like, look, you have an issue. Let's face it. If I stayed on that plane when they took off again, they wouldn't have wanted me as a passenger anyway. They would have been like, we're gonna have to land somewhere else because this guy's giving us a problem.
As they huddle, you get that one head keeps popping up, looking over at you, back down.
Yep.
Look, that's why the only time my first flight ever, I flew with my father because I was scared of flying, and he's like, how many people do you know that have been in 2 plane crashes? Because my dad was in one when he was in the military. And I was like, well, that makes sense. So, and then we had, I'm not going to tell the story, but then we had a moment where the stewardess came up to us. They were like, do your feet feel warm? I'm like, yes. What? That's a story for another time. Well, at least you're here. Thank goodness.
I am here. I am safe. Everybody on that plane, by the way, was safe. It did took off. It took off an hour later. They made it to where they needed to go safely, which was great. I was very happy for them. My nerves could not do that plane again. I left a day later. Everything was fine. And that is why we did not do our episode last week.
That's all right. Well, all good stuff, Bo. We're back. And yes, and we did. And we had some fun stuff planned last week that we're going to kind of do this week. We're going to get actually into that in a few moments. So before we get into that, though, Ant, during your time away, though, I believe you got some stuff ended up coming in that when you got home, you're like, you know what, this is a wonderful gift for me to come home to and forget my nightmarish travel.
Well, actually, while I was sitting on the plane, one of the thoughts that ran through me was, of course, those things arrive when I'm on a plane that's going to crash. But no, because I will never get to play them. So no, so Polymega successfully sent me my modules.
Yes.
And here they are.
Beautiful.
I've got my Super Nintendo module here.
Very nice.
Which is the only one I have had time to open so far.
Okay.
So very, very cool. I'll open it up just to show really quickly.
Keep those boxes.
I am.
For storage. No,
no, for storage. My N64 box which I
Mhm.
was looking for all day yesterday, has also disappeared. Like things are going missing in my home. So I
Blame the
have
cats.
well, it's either the cats are getting, you know what? The cats are probably getting back at me for medicating them this week because they both went to the vet and I have to give them
Oh.
medicine, and they do not like me right now. So here's the
Don't put up
Super
a field.
Nintendo module.
Very nice.
Very
Yep.
simple.
Very
And
straightforward.
yep, the controller. I will say I love the look of it. I played some games using it yesterday. I didn't care for it very much.
Meaning what?
Either I got to break the buttons in a little bit
Oh,
or
that
what.
might be.
Like it
Yeah.
almost felt like I had to like I was pressing the button and I wasn't getting a reaction quickly
All right.
enough.
Yeah, that might be.
But yeah, it was a little weird.
Make sure you got
So
game mode on your TV.
yeah, I should double check that or just get a new TV. I need a new TV. So any excuse to get a new one
There
would
you
be
go.
nice. So I got my Super NES module. There's the back
Very
with all the
cool.
specs, which is cool.
Oh, very nice.
Again, I love their packaging. Like whoever designed their packaging, top notch guys.
Kudos to the people in R&D packaging over.
Hey, you know what? I've worked in consumer products and marketing, so I've seen my fair share of packaging in my life. Packaging is very important. All right, so here we got the this is the power, which is the
Power.
power.
What's the
Which
power?
this is the NES one.
Oh, okay.
The NES one.
Very
So
nice.
let's see
I mean, at this
that.
point, yeah, really, it's just kind of looking at the controllers.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
you didn't even take the shrink wrap off of that
no,
yet.
no, I told
Good
you I
Lord.
haven't had time.
I just thought you just didn't hook it up yet.
No, well, because I got home a day later last weekend, and then I worked 3 days, and I got back on a plane because I had to fly again. Here's the Genesis one, the Mega,
Very nice.
which
Very
is
nice. And remember that will
really the
play
controller.
32X.
Yes, which is very cool.
You know
So
what I
now
like about the
I can,
controllers? This is gonna sound weird, but I do like the colorfulness of the controllers. Like the
yes,
way the buttons are colored like that.
yeah, I
Oh,
like that.
mm,
Yep, they all have different colors. Although the
yeah.
Y and the Z look like they're the same color, but it's hard to tell.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it does look like
they're
that.
both
Yeah,
they
a little weird.
both look gray,
Yeah.
but the other colors are nice. And then last but not least, this is the probably the one I was most excited about because I'm going to up that collection now. This is the TurboGrafx 16.
Oh yes, good
Yep,
luck.
and there's that button. I love the buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Roman numerals,
Yeah, honestly, right?
and they go around in a circle.
They do.
They
That's
go
what's a little
or
weird. Yeah.
clockwise.
Here's the thing. I totally forgot there was a 6-button TurboGrafx controller because when I
Yeah.
was looking at that, I'm like, why the hell is it 6 buttons?
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a 6-button TurboGrafx controller.
Yep. And then so this one plays PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16, and SGX
There you
game
go.
cards.
Yeah,
So
Super Graphics. Yeah.
yep, which is great. So yeah, so there I now have all the modules.
Very cool.
Great. I still have to buy the Power Base Mini that you sent me so I can do the
Oh yes, Master System games.
Master System games.
Yes, that just reminds me actually of something I'm going to show off as well when you
Mhm.
mentioned the Master System. But you're right. Through, I wish there was another company you can buy it from now. But through Castlemania Games, you can buy a small, basically power-based converter, kind of, sort of, for you, like you
Okay.
said, to play the Master System on the Polymega, which I definitely go for it. There's 2 versions actually of this. I forgot what they call it. Power. What do you call it? What I call it?
Power Base Mini.
Yeah, Power Base Mini. There's almost like, I mean, they both will play either. I think they both will play North American and Japanese games, but there's a normal Power Base Mini, then there's a Power Base Mini FM, because
Mhm.
the Master System in Japan had like an extra. I'm gonna get all the stats and that part of it wrong, but had like an extra like music chip or something where like the music like popped off the Japanese version, where we didn't have that on the North American version. Sometimes the same game will sound different in Japan and in North America. And so there are 2 different versions of that little mini converter. So just kind of give you a heads up about it. I think you're probably better off getting the cheaper one without the FM, because again, you'd probably be playing mostly North American.
Yeah, that is my goal.
Yeah.
To play the North American one. So, yeah, so I'm gonna grab that Power Base Mini so then I can add. I don't know if I can add Master System games to the Polymega or not.
That I don't know. Probably
yeah.
not, because I don't think, because you probably would have saw like
Mhm.
because you can still see like the whatever you want to call it, like for the collection, even though you have nothing in
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you probably would've
But you can do it on the Retro Freak. So
yes.
and since those are my 2 major, compilation system
Yep.
consoles.
Yep.
It allows, and it also allows me to like, because I have my Sega Master System hooked up right now.
Hmm.
It allows me to actually put that back in my case and put it away and preserve it because I like to preserve my older systems. That's
I
why I
don't
also
blame you.
that's why I also got the compilation consoles. The only ones I want to keep out are the ones with that I can't, like my Dreamcast, my PS2, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so got my modules,
Very cool.
very happy with that. And you apparently are having some apprehension with Castlemania games, Larry. What is going on?
And at this point,
Wait. Is this going to be like another limited run story?
almost actually
Uh,
probably worse than limited run, to be honest with
Worse
you.
than limited. Well, yeah, because
Worse than limited run.
you've forgiven limited run for their
Yeah,
transgressions.
they no, they realized their error. And you're welcome, world, for their new
Yeah,
open pre-orders that they do now, as opposed
yeah.
to having someone
Well,
go in there
I
and
actually
virtually
have a
steal it.
limited run gripe myself now.
Real wow, look at
Little
us.
one. I have a little
Okay,
one. But
boy.
let's hear your Castlemania story first.
Okay.
What?
So side note, just to let you know, the Power Base Mini correction works on the Retro Freak. There's no promise it will work on the Polymega.
Okay, fair
So,
enough.
there you go. Anyway, you probably get the normal Power Base converter. In any event, so Castlevania games. All right. Company, before I get into the griping, let me mention this. When you mentioned Sega Master System, I forgot I bought this. I actually picked up a Sega Master System controller,
Ah,
which
very
I've
nice.
never owned
OG.
before. A
Nice.
total OG.
Nice.
Reason being, I didn't realize when I was going through. I don't know why I was reading it, but I was just reading the instruction manual for my analog Mega SG for the Genesis,
Hmm.
and it says you can use an original Master System control. He's got to change one of the settings very easily. So I'm like, all right, I think I can do that. When I read more into, because if for those of you who know, there is no pause button on the Master System controller.
Nope.
The pause was on the system.
Yes.
So, and in their instructions for analog, which I find is hysterical, you have one of two options. Either you can because it came with a Master System converter, the
Okay.
Mega SG, you can crack that open and start soldering wires and everything and make a pause button on the adapter to replicate having to get up and pause it on the system. And it
Okay.
goes into great detail on how to do that. Kudos.
That would be the jacked version.
Totally. Or just plug a Genesis controller into port 2 and use that as the pause button.
Well, gee, which one sounds easier?
So in any event, when I was playing Ghostbusters a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I just wish I had an original controller. So now I do. So
Very
that's just
nice.
very simple.
Very, very nice.
Now, Castlemania. Here's where they can just
Okay.
do things.
We're
So,
PG.
oh yeah, I know. That's what I had to think. So I made this. I ordered this what felt like a year and a half ago. It's called the Hammer and Harry collection.
Okay.
And it's two games from Japan, Hammer and Harry and Hammer and Harry 2.
Hmm.
NES carts are in here. It's a
Okay.
great little kind of like beat 'em up, if you will, kind of sort of. Two of them, and it's funny because like I don't have them out obviously, but like one cart is like a concrete color, and the other one's like a wood color.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, so I break them out, and I've had no issues before. Where is it over my shoulder? Here it is. For those watching, my Battletoads Double Dragon on
Hmm.
NES, I've gotten from Castlemania, and a couple other games I bought from Castlemania. So I put Hammer and Harry 1 into my analog. That's what I play with, and it didn't boot up. I'm like, oh, weird.
Oh,
Okay, interesting. So it's a brand new cart. I figure, all right, let me just try wipe it down, blow into the cart. Wasn't booting up at all. I'm like, oh, okay,
weird.
look, things happen. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, let me put in Hammer and Harry 2. At least I'll play that. I put that in, crashes immediately.
Wow.
I was like, ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Now, to make sure I'm not losing my mind, I put in Battletoads Double Dragon from the exact same company that I bought Hammer and Harry from.
Okay.
Put that in, works like a charm. I'm like, all right, good. It's not compatibility with the analog. Okay, so I got two games that don't work. Look, you know what? Things happen. I have no problem with that.
Yep.
Whatever. I think I remember one time they were saying they had to delay it anyway for some reason. Okay. So I email Castlemania Games or Rondo Productions. I don't even know which one it's through now. It's the same company. Hey, look, I need to start an exchange. The carts don't work, blah, blah, blah. Couple days pass by, nothing. Like, okay. maybe they're backlogged. Maybe in the past they've mentioned, please bear with us while we try and get to all, emails and stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So I email them. Oh, I get an email from Castlemania. So I'm like, oh, they responded to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a general email saying, hey, look, we finally got the Hammer and Harry series in the warehouse. We're going to start shipping out, which I found funny because I already got my order.
Right.
I'm like, okay, whatever. But I had already responded to that email thinking it was a response to mine. So I'm like, hey, just want to check, the update, like to get the exchange going. Nothing. Again, for days now.
Okay.
Okay. Then I remember they have a ticket, like to put in a ticket. I'm like, all right, maybe that will go quicker. And when I go log into their help section, right, and submit a ticket, my emails are already in there because I was responding. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay.
So I updated that. I'm like, hey guys, just waiting for a response. Still nothing. So now I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. I send messages on X to Castlemania, and Rondo Production is like their actual sales website.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, can someone please get back to me? These two companies, you cannot directly DM them, or at least not, I guess, if they're not following you. So I messaged them on X like 3 times, like, tweeted them.
Mm-hmm.
No response. Okay. Now I call them. They're a California-based company. They're open from 9 to 3 Pacific, so 12 to 6 here in New York.
Right.
I called them at 12:05. I called them at 4:30 something. And I called them like 3 times in a row. Reason being, I kept getting voicemail.
Oh.
And I left 3 voicemails.
Uh-oh.
So now I'm like, oh, and then I put in one more new ticket. Be like, look, someone's got to get back to me because otherwise I'm going to get my podcast partner on the trail and you're not going to like that because he's already flipping out because of an airplane. No.
Yes.
But what?
No, but we know my track record with companies and problems.
No, I've messaged, called, and emailed them for like 2.5, 3 weeks now, and nothing. No response. Well, I'm being ghosted worse than any girlfriend I ever had who were done with me. It is wild. And now the last message of both voicemail and X that I posted, I'm like, someone please get back to me. I have no other choice then to go to the Better Business Bureau and contact my credit card, who might find it weird that I might be putting in a complaint for a charge that was over a year and a half ago.
Right.
But it is wild. The broken carts, again, don't bother me. That happens. Things happen. But to completely not even respond to anything, even like, hey, pal, stop messaging us.
Right.
So, again, Castlemania Games, Rondo Productions, look, they're great companies. I've had no issues with them before. I've been able to cancel orders. Yes, they've always been maybe a little slow, but this has been ridiculous. And this isn't the first time I heard people almost being ghosted from them. So I don't know where to turn to next at this point, because I feel like all my options have run out and all I want is 2 working games. And to kind of mention what you said before about limited run, now they work. So you can order from Rondo Productions or limited run. Guess what? Moving forward, limited run's definitely getting more of my business, which because I always went to Castlemania because I have credit with them.
Right.
Because you earn credit every time you buy something. I probably got this $20 off actually. So
nice. 20 bucks off for broken games.
No. Yeah, totally. But it is wild how they just shut down. Nothing. Not even like, hey, we're Happy New Year or something. I don't know. Lunar New Year. But
well, it could be that they're dealing with and I'm not trying to explain what's going on with them. Maybe they're dealing with
how commerce works.
Yes. No. Maybe they're just dealing with an influx of issues.
You know what?
That type of thing.
Which I believe, which is possible, which is fine. But at least, hey, look, we will get back to you when we can. Something to acknowledge.
Well, some even like auto response would have been
exactly. It's
like
just
like the one I just got from Limited Run feud.
So it's hopefully no one else. Actually, it's funny. Mario had almost the same issue with them.
Hmm.
Actually, when he ordered the Power Base Mini
Hmm.
for his Genesis, and he decided, to cancel the order, and it took him like a month and a half to cancel because they just weren't responding.
Wow. Okay.
So
Maybe they're
well,
just not. Maybe they're just not staffed well.
again, which is fine, but
Yeah.
give me something.
Yep.
Respond to something. I left 3 voicemails. Come on, people.
Yep. All right. That's fair.
So that's where I'm at. Castlemania, you are forcing me to use limited run now, which
Yeah.
is I thought I would never say anything like that in my life.
That's not true. You've been using limited run for a little while now.
I have because I had no other choice because stuff was only through limited run. But when I
That's right.
had a choice to buy from limited run or someone else, I was going
Yep.
with someone else.
Yeah. And look what happened.
Exactly.
It just bit you.
It really did because I know
Yep.
limited run would have gotten back to me quick. Say, hey, all right, let's swap it out.
Yep. Nope. Fair. All right. Well, then enjoy your continued issues with Castlemania.
Just put them on the list.
I'll add them to the list. You should report them to what was that? We had a local news station that would do the
shame,
news.
shame on you.
Yeah,
Or who's the other one?
Call them.
That was channel 2. All right, hold on. Who's the one on 11?
I forget.
Oh, it was Ask Asa as well.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the other one. Henry or Harry.
You should call your local news station and tell them you have a story. You have a story for them, a good old shame on you story.
Like, sir, that hasn't been a segment for us for about 20 years.
Yeah, and then well, bring it back. We're a retro podcast.
I was just gonna say exactly.
Go. Retro shame on you.
That's what we deal with. So that's where I'm at. Castlemania. Hopefully someone's listening.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my games replaced. That's all. I want this replaced.
That's all you're asking for.
So episode 360, there really is no other topic to talk about for episode 360 than to single-handedly bring down all these shipping companies and issues that they're having.
That's right. Right. 360 degrees of shipping gone wrong.
The other topic can be the Xbox 360.
Yes, it just made the most sense.
Yes, and that's what we're going to get into right now, talking about some fun memories with the Xbox 360, which we both definitely have. And first, let's kind of bring everyone up to speed on this. I mean, we're doing a special for the 360, but do we dare call it yet a retro system? I know we always go back and forth on what's deemed a retro system.
Well,
when it becomes,
we had decided, I think like at least a year ago, to allow the 7th generation into the retro category, and I think it's fair because they're both. So yeah, I mean, it's 2 generations ago. The system was originally released over 18 years ago at this point. I'm perfectly comfortable putting the 360 in the retro console. It's just it just so happens that that generation of consoles had a very odd level of longevity.
It really did. I mean, the 7th generation is the 360, the PS3, and the Wii.
Yeah, and those systems lasted for a really long time.
They sure did.
And I have some I didn't do, like, remember when we used to do retro spotlights?
Ah, yes.
And I would go into really great detail on them. I kind of did like a just a little mini spotlight, which is really just kind of talking about the specs and some fun facts about the 360.
Yeah.
So the 360, I'll just jump right into it. Obviously developed by Microsoft. It was their second major console in the industry. The original Xbox was wickedly successful. Part of the 7th generation, like we said. It was released on November 22nd, 2005 in the US, December 2nd, 2005 in Europe, and then December 10th, 2005 in Japan. Intro price for the system, for the standard 360, it was going for $299.
I remember that, and that felt cheap for some reason
and that
back
was,
then.
Yeah, and that was the core system. The premium system, which had a 20 gigabyte hard drive at the time, was going for $399. It was $100 for that. Okay. And when we talk about longevity, the 360 was discontinued April 20th of 2016. So it was on the market for almost 11 years.
They'll do it.
That is huge for a system. I mean, I think the last time you had, I don't know the last time. I mean, systems stayed on the market well past like when the next generation came out. But this generation just kind of kept going. It was one of those generations where it's like it was just like because the consoles at the time were so powerful
Hmm.
that uh, they they just kept hanging on.
Yeah.
Number of units sold over the course of its lifespan, 84 to 86 million units,
Wow.
which is huge.
Yeah.
So definitely really one of the probably one of the best selling consoles out there.
Hmm.
Not counting, well, now I mean the Switch is definitely flying up there. PS2 I think is still king, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we gotta get an updated list one day. We'll
Yeah, I
check
gotta
that
get an
out. But
updated list on
yeah.
that. All right, so some fun facts about the 360 that I have here. Um, oddly enough, or to no surprise, I should say, to no surprise, the number of consoles that came out at launch were not enough to handle demand. So that's
Shocking.
so yeah, so they sold out first week. But what was funny about it was that 10%, and I think the 10% was like 40,000 units, something like 10% of the initial units sold within the first week were thrown up on eBay.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So the upcharging or the what do you call them?
I
Not
know you're talking about
scammers.
scalping.
Scalping. The
Yeah.
scalpers were out in mass for the Xbox 360. By the end of 2005, which was only a little over a month after this thing came out, the 360 had sold 1.5 million units. So that's
Wow.
just within about a little over a month, which makes sense. You're releasing it during the holiday season, right?
Hmm.
Um, so there were 18 launch titles in the US, 15 in Europe, 7 in Japan. Now, Larry, did you get one at launch? Because I did not. I bought yours, remember?
You did, and there's a great story behind
I
that.
will talk. Well, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that story.
Did I buy it at launch? I know the Xbox I did not buy at launch. I might have bought the 360 at launch. I can't 100% remember,
Yep.
but I might have bought that one at launch.
Okay.
There's very
What's
few systems I didn't buy at launch.
Yeah, what's funny about when I was researching this, I realized while I was looking this up that the seventh generation might have been the first generation within my lifetime
Mm.
that I did not buy a single system at launch. I did not buy a Wii, I did not buy a PS3, and I did not buy a 360.
Oh, okay.
I stuck with Xbox, PS2, and GameCube
Hmm.
for a while before I picked up the next gen. And honestly, the next gen, the only one I got was the 360 from you. I didn't buy a Wii or a PS3 until like
Much
my
later.
yeah, my PS3 I've only had for like 2 years.
Yeah, just recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and my Wii I got I think in like 2018 or 19. My roommate though had a Wii
Okay.
at a time. I don't remember if that but that was like 2010 or 11.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right, but moving on. So some of the launch titles for 360 in North America were some pretty heavy hitters that people would just run out and grab. One of which was Call of Duty 2.
Oh, yes.
You a good number of major sports games came out at launch. So you had NBA 2K6,
Hmm.
Madden NFL 06, NHL 2K6. You also had Project Gotham Racing 3, Quake 4, Tiger Woods, PGA Golf, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. So it had some really good titles. I think one of the reasons why I didn't get a 360 right away is because there were no titles on it that jumped out to me.
I hear you, and you know eventually it almost seemed like it became for a while there in the beginning like it became the Madden system.
It was your Maddens, it was your Call
Yeah,
of Duties, it was your Halos. Like
exactly.
those
Oh,
were
Halo, forget about Halo. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean Halo,
that was your major.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that was your major thing. All right, so other names that were considered for the Xbox 360 because we were all like, you have Xbox One, you have the original Xbox, and then you get a 360, and then obviously the next one after that was Xbox One. It's like, what are you guys
Hmm.
thinking? But after listening to the other names, I think I'm okay with 360. One of the obvious ones they had considered was Xbox 2,
Okay,
right? The going a completely different way, they were gonna call it the Xenon,
that would have been hot.
Xenon, which I actually like
Uh,
the Microsoft Xenon.
yep.
Okay, I can get behind that. And then there are the other two that I'm glad they threw out. One of them was called the Xbox Next,
I think okay, it sounded familiar.
and
Yep.
then my personal favorite, the Next Box.
I mean, that's just pun intended,
Yeah.
honestly.
So anyway, so those were the other names being considered. I have a
Okay.
cat. I have a cat walking over. You like me now. Wait till I medicate you later.
Oh boy.
All right. So over the course of the Xbox lifespan, there were essentially 9 different versions that were sold of the console itself.
Ton of
Yeah.
versions came out.
Yeah. So you had the premium, which was the 20 gig, and you had the core.
Mhm.
Then in '07, you had the 360 Elite, which was 120 gigabytes.
Okay. I think I had
Which,
that one at some point.
yeah. And then you had the arcade edition
Okay.
that came out, which was
Like a smaller, not in
yeah,
size, but in like storage.
yeah, exactly. So the arcade system came
Yeah.
out. Then there was the Xbox 360 Elite edition. Oh, wait, I said the Elite, right? I said
Yeah.
the Elite. Then there was the Xbox 360 S that came
Okay.
out.
That's when they started kind of reshaping it and everything like that.
Exactly. And that one was actually I think that one may have had the largest storage on it because the S
Okay.
had a 250 gigabyte hard
Okay.
drive. Then you had the Xbox 360E, and you had 2 versions of that. And you want to talk about a difference between 2 versions. You had a 4 gigabyte version and you had a 250 gigabyte
I
version.
mean, go big or go home,
Yeah, it's
honestly.
either go big or go really, really small. So
And
those
that
were
was a weird one because they shaped that one like the Xbox One,
yes.
which is I don't know, it seems just even very weird to me. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but it did.
So yeah, so there were 9 different versions, not counting like if they did like Call of Duty editions and all
So
that stuff.
real fast, just to throw back episode 336, actually one of the episodes you weren't here for, right? When we had the lovable Halo addict,
Yes.
Anthony on another Anthony. So, you weren't totally missed. And me and him, because he's huge, hence his name, into Halo, into Xbox 360 and everything. We did a lot of talking about like all the special edition
Mhm.
360s
I
that came out.
remember
Like I
I
said,
remember that episode. Yes.
the Call of Duty, the Halo, the Star Wars one, the
Mhm.
Simpsons one, you were able to win and stuff like that. So
Yes.
check out episode 336. Very fun. Just go through those. Actually, it was about special edition consoles in general, but he
Mhm.
had some cool stuff about Halo and about the 360 special editions. But yeah, the 360 was very, how can I put it? Like the way you explain it. I mean, there's so many different versions. It was almost like they were putting them out like handbags, meaning find the one
Mhm.
that fits you the best.
Basically, over the course of time, yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely.
yep. And then on top of that, if you remember, I remember this very well, Xbox Connect, which was
Yes.
its answer basically to the Wii.
Yep.
Xbox Connect launched November 2010.
Did you have a
Uh,
Connect?
I did, and I still do, but I think it's broken. So, because the
Okay.
Connect, if you remember, the Connect would like move.
Oh no, I never had a
It used to
Connect, but
adjust.
did I?
Oh, okay, yeah, I have a Connect, and the Connect would actually move
No,
when
I
you
never
would
had a
plug it
Connect.
in.
Yeah, it would go up
It
and
would
down.
actually,
Yeah.
it would go up and down. Mine doesn't go up and down anymore, if I remember correctly. So, so the Connect, which was basically like the Wii, so it would,
All body motion. Yeah.
yeah, all body motion kind of thing, and you could play games with the body motion, which was kind of fun. A couple other things about it: the infamous Red Ring of Death that would
Yes.
happen with the first generation console, Xbox
Yes.
360 console. So, and then we've told the story on the podcast before, but when I finally decided to get an Xbox, it was when Larry upgraded his
I
360.
was going to one of the newer versions, newer models
Yep.
because I always need the new one. There's a reason why I have a bunch of slims.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, well, I was all geared up to sell it back, probably sell it back to GameStop to swap it out for the new one or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's when you were like, you know what? I want to get a 360. I haven't had one. I'm like, all right, I'll sell you one, no problem.
Yep.
And we did the transaction, all good
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
And then what? 2 weeks later, maybe?
At most.
It was a very short
At
turnaround.
most.
I had to remind Anthony that all sales were completely final.
Yeah, so
Uh,
Larry was basically Castlemania-ing me.
oh yeah, no, I ignored you for like 3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Ant got the red ring of death, and here I am
Yep.
enjoying my brand new Xbox.
Yes.
And Ant couldn't play his for a little while, but yeah, that was the timing was wild on that one.
It really was. Well, all things considered, it was fine because Xbox honored
Yes.
They did honor the
You
Red
ended
Ring
up
of
getting
Death,
a new one, I think.
and I wound up getting. They sent me a new one,
There you
so
go.
and
So
I
you
got a
won
new
out.
working one. But the funny thing about not the funny thing about it, but the Red Ring of Death actually cost Microsoft over $1 billion.
Oh, it was wild. It
It
was
was it,
wicked.
it was yeah, it was really bad.
And it was all
Um,
like a soldering issue.
yeah, it was
Just
a
one little
side.
thing got loose.
Yeah, it was a little thing.
Yeah.
They, as a result of the Red Ring of Death, they actually extended the warranty on Xbox consoles from 1 to 3 years.
Hmm.
So if you had bought one and you got the Red Ring of Death within those 3 years, you were able to send it back
Which
for a new
I
one.
find funny and weird nowadays. I mean, it's too long to think about how it really went out, but you like you bought the Xbox secondhand. So, like, technically speaking, I feel like the warranty should not have been in effect for you. Like, you didn't have a receipt for it or anything, unless I gave you the
I,
receipt, maybe.
no, I don't think it mattered if you had a receipt or not. It's
Oh,
just the
okay.
fact of if you had it, because what are they going to say? Oh, if you don't have your receipt, so we can't give
I'm
you a
just
new
saying,
360.
there's no
Yeah.
like how you have to register the system sometimes.
Oh
It's
no,
like,
no, no.
so,
Yeah, but back then I don't think you were
no, you're
registering
right.
systems yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
like nowadays they would probably be like, "Well, did you register the console, sir?" I'd be like, at which point my response would be like, "It doesn't matter. There's a red ring of death on it." So,
no, it's funny. I went on when I was actually on the Xbox website earlier, just kind of looking at some stuff. I
mhm.
happened to access my account, and my Xbox Series X is registered on there. And there's actually
Uh-huh.
a section that says warranty expired. Actually tells you when
Ah,
the warranty expired.
there you go. A couple other things about the 360. Last two things was with the Kinect, when the Kinect came out, and Larry, I'm surprised you didn't get the Kinect for this reason only. You probably did not know this, but you were able to order Pizza Hut through the Kinect.
So I've seen the Pizza Hut app on the
Yep,
360 to
yep,
order pizza,
yep,
but you're right, not through to be able to just verbally
yep.
say, "Hey, order me a pizza."
No, no, you were able to verbally order
Yeah,
the pizza
I'm
and
sure.
say like, this is what I want on it, all this
That's
stuff.
like that's like Domino's for the longest time. You can like do a quick reorder with Domino's, and all you had to do is text them a pizza emoji, and that
Oh
was your
wow,
order. And like whatever your last order was, they'll just send that to you.
that's funny. And then the
Fat
last,
man's dream. Why I have diabetes.
yes, the last little fun fact I had for it also was that the 360 was also obviously a DVD player because those became standard, but
Yes.
the 360 was also taking part in the HDVD
I
Blu-ray
want to talk about this. Yes, because
fight
I was all
because
in on this.
yeah, because the Xbox supported HD DVDs.
So, for those of you to go back in time just a little bit, there was, well, to go back even further, there was a time where there was VHS versus beta.
Mhm.
And I don't really remember the VHS versus beta war, to be honest with you. You know, too young. This happened like in the early 80s. But there were two formats,
Yep.
VHS and beta. And I forgot, again, specifics, whatever. But VHS won that battle. Okay,
Yep.
everything was VHS. Then everything went DVD. All right, cool. Now we go to the next evolution of all that, and these two separate formats come out, HD DVD and Blu-ray.
Yep.
So now we have this new console war, or again, home media war. And like the only difference besides who owned HD versus Blu-ray, meaning company-wise, was HD DVD came in red boxes,
Yep.
Blu-rays came in blue boxes. So, as Ant started to mention, Xbox goes in on the HD DVD port of it, and they release a separate drive, a separate HD DVD player. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, I'm all in. You know me, always got to have the most
Yep.
up-to-date stuff, and especially when it comes to multimedia and everything. So I went, you know what? I'm back in HD DVD. There is no way this Blu-ray thing is going to last. That's
Mhm.
just a stupid, overpriced something or other. So I pick up the HD DVD. And what's hysterical is just yesterday I was talking to someone. I was talking to Rob over at Game On and Patchog, and we were talking about this HD DVD player. Like, I wonder
Mhm.
if we even have those anymore. So it was a standalone drive that only played DVDs and HD DVDs. It did not play games. I don't even think it played music, to be honest with you. Like it didn't play audio CDs.
I don't recall.
Yeah, it's strictly the HD DVDs. So
Mhm.
now here I am. I'm picking up HD DVDs left and right. It came with King Kong, the Peter Jackson
Yep.
King. That's the one that it came with. And so now I'm starting to fill up on HD DVDs, and it's working perfectly. It's so seamlessly hooked up to the Xbox 360. It looked like the Xbox 360. You know what I mean? Like it just fit with it. You were able to hook the Wi-Fi adapter to the back of it. It actually had extra USB ports on it, so it was almost like a hybrid USB hub.
Hmm.
So everything was going really cool with this HD DVD, and the movies were phenomenal looking.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I read in the newspaper, or whatever. Hey, the war is over. Blu-ray wins. I was like, really?
Yep.
Seriously, I have
Well,
all these HD DVD movies.
well, at that point, you could have stocked up on HD DVDs for like 50 cents a pop. They were
Oh,
like literally like the closeout sales on HD DVDs was insane.
not only did those drop in price, this thing was $200 at launch. I think 2 or 3 days later, after it was announced that Blu-ray wins, this thing drops to $50.
Yep.
So now here I am with a stack of HD DVDs, and the only way I can play them is through the Xbox 360, which
Yep.
was good for a little while. But man, does this thing go out of style very quickly. But
Yeah.
it was so cool though to see Xbox like adapt to that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And not going, we're going to put out a brand new, because they never put out a version of Xbox 360 that had HD DVD built into it.
No, it did not.
Separate. But it was just cool to see Microsoft, be like, you know what? This is the thing. Here's an adapter for it. There was rumors saying they were going to make it a Blu-ray adapter, but obviously that never came true.
No.
But I was all in on this HD DVD.
Well, that was probably their plan then for the Xbox One, I would think.
Maybe. Well, no,
Well,
by the time that was already Blu-ray was
that was already,
yeah.
yeah. So, those were all like just just the fun facts I pulled to share. And then the last thing I had were the top 5 best-selling games on the 360.
Okay.
Larry, would you like to wager a guess as to what might be on the top 5?
I would, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I looked at it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but the number one game shocked me.
Yeah, the number one game shocked me too. So for the top 5, uh, a few of them are going to be completely obvious, and then
Actually, it's funny. Number 6 just lost out on the top 5, and I'm shocked for an Xbox.
Yeah, because it was a Halo.
It was Halo
3?
3.
Yeah, Halo 3 was number 6. Number 5 was Call of Duty Black Ops with
Yep.
13.7 million. Number 4 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, 14.7 million. Obvious, right?
Yeah.
Top 3, Minecraft, 21 million.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. Number 2, which I thought would have been number 1, right?
Hold on.
What?
Oh, go. All right, say it.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
5. On the 360.
On the 360.
5.
Grand Theft Auto 5. That's how old Grand Theft Auto 5 is.
And we still got to wait another year or so.
Yeah. So Grand Theft Auto 5 sold 23 million.
Okay.
About 23 million. And then the number one game, clearly the only, and it's obvious why it's number one.
Yeah.
For this reason, but you wouldn't think of it.
No.
Number 1 is Kinect Adventures at 24 million. Now, why is that number 1? Because it came with the Kinect.
And I just didn't realize the Kinect sold that much. That's what shocked me.
The Kinect sold really, I want to say thanks to the Wii.
Probably.
The Kinect sold really well because suddenly all of a sudden everybody wanted the motion sensor.
Yeah.
So those are the top 5 best-selling 360 games. So
the 360. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my memories of the 360 is, besides gaming, is just, again, the aesthetics of the system. Do you remember the interchangeable faceplates on the original 360?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I had a small collection of them, and they were just like, there was Avengers stuff or Marvel stuff.
Yep.
I forgot some of the other ones. They were Halo stuff, and you just popped it off and put the new shell on. Again, very, very keeping it like your system is yours. You know what I mean? Personalizing
You personalize it. Yeah.
It was the only system I remember. At one point, there was a point where I ran out of, I had so many systems, I ran out of HDMI inputs, because back in the day there was only like 1 or 2, but only like 2 or 3 systems used HDMI. HDMI was just starting to come into itself.
Yeah, it was just becoming a thing.
So I remember I don't know why I always felt this was weird, but the TV I had a VGA port on the back of it. And the 360 just happened to have a VGA adapter. And that's how I had my 360 hooked up for almost the entire lifetime of the system.
I think my entire run, I had it hooked up to Component.
Okay, so you weren't
Yeah.
even up to that yet. Like VGA, because VGA was like, between component and
Yeah.
HDMI, if you will, because you still had to hook up the audio separately.
Correct.
But I just remember that popped, and actually that
Hmm.
helped out with the HD DVD movies, hooking it up via VGA. So I remember always having that for the longest time. I'm like, dang it, I ran out of room. What am I going to use?
Hmm.
Wait a minute, what is this computer plug? Um, and then the tiny headset. I mean, the really tiny
Yep.
headset that you
I
would
still
use.
have it.
You made you feel like you're in the CIA or something like that.
Well, yeah, because you only had the one
One side, one button hooked up over
only
your
one side.
earlobe. Yeah, it
Yep.
was weird.
I
And
felt
then
like I was Jack Bauer at the CTU.
and then of course the epic gameplay, just to bring it down personally for me and Anthony. Left for Dead and Left for
Hmm.
Dead 2 were some
Yep.
of the most iconic, fun,
Yep.
amazing moments for not only just the two of us, but all of our friends. And
Yes.
you mentioned because you moved to LA at that point.
Yep.
So it was what kept you with us here in Brooklyn at the time.
Absolutely.
And just the nonsense that we would go through playing
Oh,
Left 4 Dead.
we had a lot of laughs playing that
Oh my
game. We
God. I mean,
really
I
did.
almost passing out laughing so hard. And again, the one that I always like to mention it, but of course we can never truly recreate it. But 8 of us playing 2 Left 4 Dead games, and we're all on
Yep.
the same chat at the same
Oh, it
time.
was great.
Oh my
It
God,
was
it was
great.
amazing. So 360 will always have a place in my
Yep.
heart for that. And one of the few reasons why I still have a 360, besides just keeping it in the collection, is because the 360 was really the first system for me that I started going digital with.
Yep.
I mean, the Wii, no, not even the Wii, because I'm not going to count the Virtual Console. But there was a lot of games on the 360 I bought digitally, one of
Hmm.
which is X-Men, the arcade game.
Correct.
So that's one of the reasons why I will always hold
Well,
on to the
that and
360.
Simpsons Arcade. Those are the two I have on my
True,
360.
I
Yeah.
have my Simpsons is on the PS3, which is why I still have the
Okay.
PS3. But yeah, so bottom line, this system was phenomenal, and for me, it was also truly the first home. Like the NES was always built as a home entertainment system, not a
Yep.
video game system. But for me, the Xbox 360 was truly my home entertainment system.
I got it.
It was
Yeah.
my
No.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
my de facto DVD player and everything. So
Yeah. And
definitely have
see,
memories for it.
yeah, I didn't I never used I've to this day I still don't use a console as a DVD player. I never have.
Hmm. Yeah.
But my 360 for the same memories that we shared on it were great. I still remember one of the funny things because I still have my 360, but
Hmm.
and
Your original. Yeah.
yeah, so my mom still has an account on my 360
Awesome.
because I bought all of those Hasbro Game Night
Oh,
games.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my mom would just go on there and play like
Awesome.
Boggle and Scrabble and those
Awesome.
types of things. And I'm always, you know me, I'm a board game nut, so I love
Yep.
those types of games. But yeah, but like I remember like it's funny because when I think of Xbox, the 360 is the only one that I really think back to as the fondest experiences. And I think it was because of that timing of like I just moved to LA. I bought your broken Xbox. And then and then we got to play Left 4 Dead like we played because we played it like every week.
Oh, ad
Like we had
nauseum.
like a
Yeah.
we had like a weekly thing,
Yeah.
which was awesome. Um, but it definitely helped keep my sanity when I moved. And also just for the library of games that I played on there
An
because
amazing library.
yeah, it had a huge library. And what was great about it was, and again, the reason why I didn't buy it at launch is because there were a lot of games that came out that were not my style. Because I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I'm
Hmm.
not a Halo guy. Those were
Hmm.
never the things that appealed to me.
Yeah.
But when I got the system from you a couple years later, they had such a great library that you could obviously you can tailor it to what you liked. So I just had a blast playing the games that I liked on it. The wrestling games were great.
Very good.
Um,
Raw too.
that was
Well,
original. That was original Xbox.
oh, that was. I apologize. You're right. I'm sorry.
No,
But the SmackDown versus
the
Raws.
SmackDown
Yeah.
series, the Legends of WrestleMania game that
Oh my
eventually came
God.
out on
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Those types of games were really fun. AAA Lucha Libre had a game on there.
It did. Yes.
TNA Impact.
It did. I'm looking for that game. I want to pick
Yeah.
it up. I know it's terrible, but I want to pick
I
it up.
no no no. I have it. I still have it. And I have the AAA game too. So
That I don't have. I gotta find
yeah, I have that one as well. But then like the single player games that I enjoyed on there, like Dead Rising was a great series.
Oh my
People
God,
love Dead
amazing.
Rising.
Amazing.
The Batman Arkham series was on 360. That's where it
I
started.
forgot about
Yeah, because Arkham Asylum,
that. Okay.
that was seventh gen. That was PlayStation 3 and 360.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but just a ton of games. That 360 is where I fell in love with the Lego games.
Yes.
Lego Harry
Yes.
Potter, Lego Batman, the very
Mhm.
first ones when the characters didn't talk and it was great.
Oh my God, I just picked up again in an effort to continue converting to digital. I just picked up on the 360, it's backwards compatible. Star Wars, the original trilogy. No, the original saga
The Lego
on
saga.
the Lego saga. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I started that one on the GameCube.
Yep.
But they ended up the first two games they merged into one.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, backwards capability. Remember that?
You can
Like for
play almost every Xbox game on it.
almost half the thing out of the 998 original Xbox games that came out.
Wow, they couldn't make it to 1,000.
Honestly, right? 462 of them were backwards compatible. Some of which were exclusive to regions, but in
Yep,
total, 462 backwards compatible. But that
which
was
is
also
great.
because in a time where we thought, well, there goes back, backwards. Well, no, not when we thought, because I always have this argument. The Super Nintendo was not backwards compatible with the NES, so
No, but that was
but it brought it into the spotlight.
well, but I was gonna say, but that was also like hardware limitations because it was a cartridge-based system. Once you got to a CD-based system, you were able to
Well,
work the coding in a
almost.
way.
I mean, it was still like there was. You still had to download an emulator. It wasn't like it was playing off the disc. You said that
No, no,
like it
no.
had to download something.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that.
But I'm just saying,
Um,
this was like the first huge step into that direction,
into
which then
backwards
everyone ignored.
capability.
Yeah.
Yes, which was
So,
awesome. Let's not forget the ever lovable, creepy Burger King
oh my
360
God.
game. Sneak King was one
Sneak.
of them. Yes, one of
I
the
still
most.
have Sneaking.
I do not. I'm pretty sure you can buy it for $1 anywhere though.
There were 4 or 5 exclusive
Yeah,
games.
it was just creepy. Um,
Those
but
games were
yeah,
great. I mean,
but
terrible, but great.
yeah,
Oh,
but
there's three
all
of
in
them. I'm
all,
sorry.
like yeah, all in all, like that. Yeah, I I always look back on my 360 fondly. It is one of the consoles that if I'm not mistaken, no, actually, I don't have it sitting out. I have Xbox One sitting out because most 360 games are backwards
A
on
lot
there.
of them are. A ton of them
Yeah,
are.
and a
Yeah.
lot of original Xbox you
They're
can play.
getting there. A lot of them are.
But my 360 is safely stored away with its Connect, so I get to keep it preserved.
Very good.
And I will always have that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, 360 always will have a place in our hearts. Trust me. And we know it's a place in yours as well. And where can people share their fondness and memories of the 360 with us?
Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories about what your favorite experience was on the 360, what your favorite game was. If you have a like a personal memory to share like we do, we'd love to hear about it. And you guys can hit us up on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify at Retro Gamers Podcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
All right. So at this point, let's get right into it, folks. Yes, it's back because we were off last week.
It is back.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. It has nothing to
Whoa,
do with.
what is going on here?
Well, my cat wants to join Game of the Week. So
Excuse you.
yes, so she has decided
Good.
she played. She wants to talk about it.
Yeah, put that tail down for God's sakes.
So Game of the Week. It was your choice last time, a couple weeks
Yes.
ago. And you had picked a really good one that I remember fondly.
Yes, right. One I just wanted to play and haven't played in a while, and this was an excuse to do it. Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Yes, Saturday Night Slam
Oh,
Masters for the
what
Super Nintendo.
yes. And what were your initial thoughts, getting back into this game?
All right, so it had been a really long time since I gotten into
Right.
it. Since I had played this game. What obviously the first thing that always comes to mind when I think of this game was the crossover it had with
Final Fight.
Final Fight with Hagar
Yeah.
Hagar
Yeah.
making his appearance in the game. Going back into it, I remember it being a fast-paced wrestling game because it was originally an arcade game, and they
Mhm.
didn't they didn't really change much from the arcade aspect of it.
No, not too much.
No, not too much. So it's really cool getting back into that. The graphics I loved. I
Pure
always loved this
Capcom.
look. Yeah, pure Capcom graphics. It's got that Street Fighter look to it.
Hmm.
What I had forgotten about the game was that it played, even as a wrestling game, it played like a bit of a brawler.
Hmm.
Like that you did do wrestling moves and stuff like that, but it really was a lot of like more hitting type of things.
Yeah.
Um, Also the matches were incredibly fast. Like you had a 3-minute
Oh
timer
yeah, yeah, it went quick.
on
Yeah.
yeah. You had to basically win in 3 minutes to move on. So, but I thought it was really cool. It didn't have a large roster
No, not at all. What,
because
7, 8
again, yeah,
players?
it had about 7 or 8 players, but then you also have to think about like this game came out in 1993,
Hmm.
right? Rosters for games at that time were 8, 10, maybe 12 if you were lucky. Like
Oh yeah, totally.
Even Street Fighter,
Yep.
back then, and Mortal Kombat, you had like, 8 to 10 people to choose from. So it was on par with all the other games. Um, I liked the fact that you had a single mode and a tag team mode.
Yes.
I liked I enjoyed not necessarily the story based element, but the traveling element. You go from like
That was
country to
very Street
country.
Fighter like. Yeah, the circuit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the circuit, because every character came from a different country.
Hmm.
So you got to travel, you traveled the world, becoming basically the champion, pretty much the champion of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So they took that Street Fighter format and put it in here, which I thought was fine. Um, is it the type of game you want to play over and over again? No, I didn't like the replay value to me isn't there as much in
Okay.
this game as it
Okay.
is in other wrestling games.
Hmm.
Like perfect example, for comparison's sake, I had, and because of the fact that I just installed all my Super Nintendo games on my Polymega.
How long did that take you?
Actually, it didn't take, it took me all of like half an hour.
That's not bad.
I only have like 30 Super Nintendo
Oh,
games,
okay.
and they copy really fast.
Yeah.
But like by the time you press the button to copy it, it's already been copied because they're all like a
Yeah.
megabyte or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Right.
for comparison's sake, I just threw in I threw on a WWF Royal Rumble,
Hmm.
because as of this recording, yesterday was I believe the anniversary of Mr. Perfect's passing.
Yes. 21 years. Good
Yeah,
gosh.
21 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Mr. Perfect was always one of my go-to picks in the Royal Rumble game. So I went in, I played as Mr. Perfect. I won the Rumble, which was great. But just for comparison's sake, I was like, let me play through that. And after playing through that game and then playing some Saturday Night Slam Masters, it just made me feel like like the WWF game had more replay value to me because the Royal Rumble mode in and of itself is a great mode.
Hmm. Hmm.
And on top of it, it's the character recognition. Like
Of course.
I know all of the characters in the
Yeah.
WWF game.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Slam Masters, obviously, these are all fictional character. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like
Hmm.
they're not characters you know well. You have to learn them. So, and not only that, because of the arcade style and the quick pace style of it,
Hmm.
it didn't it didn't feel like a full on 100% wrestling game to me, like a WWF game would
I
be.
hear you. I hear you.
So for me, I go, that's where the replay value, that's where I lose it a little bit on the replay value. Also, again, you basically just had one choice. You do your singles matches or you do your tag matches. Having a couple of other options would have been cool. But again, this is early 90s wrestling. I think for what it was at the time, it's a great game. It's fun to revisit. Capcom always good with these style of games.
Oh, 100%.
I never have much to complain about. But this is one where I'm like, my memories of it are fonder than what I actually experienced today. So that's really how I
Okay.
felt about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, you're right. I mean, it is a wrestling game, but yeah, games like Raw and the WWE games and even some of the other like WCW games of that time, you're right, was more wrestling. This is just again, it was an arcade game, which I forgot was also playable. It's on the Capcom Arcade Series 2 that's on
Mhm.
modern consoles. So the arcade version's on there.
Yes.
But what I loved about this game, I kind of forgot until obviously I started playing. I forgot about the entrances that were in the,
Yes.
the wrestlers had entrances. Um, and then talking about how Capcom really tried to keep it in their element, and this is stuff I'm just reading off of Wikipedia, not stuff that I remembered, trust me. But a lot of and they probably did this again for the selling point to try and connect it to almost Street Fighter. Besides Hagar, who obviously straight out of Final Fight, and Hagar's daughter, who appears in the ring every now and again when he wins.
Yep.
Um, Biff Slamovich. First of all, let's go through the names. Biff
Yes.
Slamovich. I mean, come on now. I mean, even in today, there's Masha Slamovich, one of
Mhm.
the great, amazing women wrestlers right now. Gunlock, and these are the American names. The Great Oni, Titanic Tim, El Stingray, Mike Hager, Alexander the Great. Excuse me, Alexander the Grotter. G.
Greater.
That's how you spell. No, Greater's Great, unless someone misspelled this.
No, greater like a cheese grater.
Thank you. Alexander the Greater, King Rastaman, Jumbo Flapjack, and the Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
So some great names there. And to show like a little bit of connection to Street Fighter 2, Biff Slamovich mentions a comrade Zangief in his quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Gunlock actually, let's see here. Long story short, Gunlock is Guile's brother.
Yep.
And because he was mentioned in the Street Fighter the movie or the game, and then of course there was one more. Oh, Titanic Tim explains he was used to be a tag team partner of Birdie, who was in the Street Fighter series as well.
Yep.
So they definitely tried to connect it to that. As far as gameplay, yeah, it's really a brawler. Each wrestler has their own like one special move and
Yep.
like one power move. But you can still do basics like whip into the ropes, jump off the top rope. There's weapons on the outside of the ring and everything like that. So that's why I enjoyed it. It's a fun brawler. It's a fun arcade fighter, not even a brawler. Really,
Yeah.
Final Fight's a brawler. This is just an arcade fighter. But to have that wrestling element into it, and again, just the big crossover with Hager, I always thought was awesome. Really, not much else to talk about. Like you mentioned it, you kind of put everything on Front Street. It's a one-player mode or the tag team tornado matches,
Mm-hmm.
as they call them, battle royals, team battle royale. But to me, there is replay value, almost like there's replay value with Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same 6 or 8 characters, but still, there's just something about it's just fun and just to
Yeah.
replay over and over again. It's fairly quick to get through,
Yes.
but just as a fun arcade wrestling game, definitely fun to play, especially at the time when I picked it, the Royal Rumble and everything like that. And I'm not going to get into it, as isn't this podcast, but especially now with the press conference WWE did a couple days ago for WrestleMania, which was amazing. To play a wrestling game now, like my juices are flowing because we're on the road to WrestleMania. So you know how I
Right.
get in any event.
Uh-huh.
This is just a very fun game to play. And again, it was just kind of just no nonsense, nothing to think about, just
Okay.
go and fight her. So
Well, there you go.
yes, and with that, and what game do you have a game on lock?
Yes, I have a game on lock, not gun lock, but on lock. And since this was episode 360, and we were talking about the Xbox 360, whether you consider it a retro console or not, I just thought it made sense to pick a game from my 360 collection for us to play. But I wanted to go a little bit more obscure from the obvious ones. Like I could have gone Left 4 Dead, but that to me has its place in history with us. We would need
Hmm.
4 people to really experience it the way we should.
Yeah.
As fun as that would be. I went back to probably what was, if I remember correctly, my favorite single player game
Okay.
on the 360. And it was on the PS3 as well, but I had played it on the 360. And I just really, really loved this game. Wasn't a perfect game, but it's definitely up my alley.
Hmm.
And I have a copy of it right here. We are going to be playing Dante's Inferno
Oh, okay.
on the Xbox 360. And my favorite thing, even on
Clearly
the
a used
game,
copy.
definitely a used copy. Stupid GameStop with their stickers that you can't take off.
Yeah, they were
Because
terrible.
yeah, it's like it's why like you needed to buy like new cases, new DVD cases,
Yes.
just to move
And you had to
everything
find
over.
green ones.
Yeah, short story. A friend of mine gave me hundreds of these.
Really?
Yeah, because he had put them all in a book, and he said, "I don't want
Oh,
these
okay. I
anymore."
gotcha. I
He gave me
gotcha.
hundreds of them. At some point, I just couldn't carry them around anymore from all the moving, and I got rid of them. And I really regret getting rid of them before I switched all of these over. I should have done that. Anyway, love this game. Really fun game. And what I love about it, right on the back, it tells you what happens.
There you
Go
go.
to hell.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so this is based off of the Dante's Inferno, the Dante's Inferno poem, the epic poem that was written hundreds of years ago.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Uh-oh, look out, folks. We might
well,
have to
well, you
go.
know, I opened the game, and it's just so old. It's like, oop, I have to sniff this. Yeah, we're sniffing off screen. So if you've never played Dante's Inferno, it's a one-player game where you go through the different stages of hell,
Oh, awesome.
in an attempt to save your love, Beatrice.
There
You are
you go.
Dante trying to save your love, Beatrice, but you have to face all the layers of hell. Really fun game. And as usual with me, my receipt is still in
Seriously,
here.
what is wrong with you?
My receipt is still in here. Well, in case I have to return it. Purchased at the Burbank Empire Center in Burbank, California on February 20th.
Oh,
February.
wow. Timing.
So, yeah, timing. So I bought this game 12 years ago, almost to the day. February 20th, 2012. And I saved $2 by buying it pre-owned.
Congratulations, my
Thank you
friend.
so much. There was no point in buying this pre-owned. I could have paid the
Honestly.
$19.99. So anyway, we're playing Dante's Inferno. So
Cool.
all of you out there, if you're following along with us on our game of the week, give Dante's Inferno a try. Maybe you have already and you hate it. Maybe you've never played it, but give it a shot.
We'll do.
And that's our game of the week for next week.
All right. With that, let's get ready to wrap things up then with news. Let's get right into it.
All right. I've only got a few bits of news. So
Okay.
I know you had one specific bit of news. But there it is. Just really quickly for our retro birthdays, I only want to bring up two.
Mm-hmm.
One we missed last week, and then the one for this week.
Okay.
So last week, and you had brought this up to me, was the 20th retro birthday for Metroid Zero Mission. Came out last week in 2004.
A fantastic game on the Game Boy Advance. Is basically a remake of the original Metroid. One of the best Metroid games.
I hate it when my camera goes. All right, I need a new camera. Next week there will be a new camera, so I don't gotta worry about the blurry effect.
We'll see about that, folks.
Yeah.
The game is just phenomenal. I don't know if it's on the Switch currently. I think just Fusion is. But this was probably when I went on that Metroid run that I was doing.
Yep.
I think this was like 1, 2, 3. It was probably the fourth game I ended up beating during that run. Just
I feel like it was the last one you beat.
It was because then I went to move on to Fusion, and as usual, I keep getting stuck in one spot, and then I stopped playing the game. In fact, I'm thinking about picking it up and restarting it for like a 9th time. But nevertheless, really awesome game. Actually, Zero Mission is I want to say one of the last games I bought, because to find an original copy at the Zero Mission, I think goes pretty pricey. So when I played it, I bought it while it was still going, the Wii U shop on the virtual console. So actually I have my copy on the Wii U.
Nice.
And that's where I played it. So definitely, if you have it, definitely check it out. Awesome.
Definitely worth it. And the other retro birthday to throw out there, this was we're celebrating the Japanese release of this one, which we don't do that often anymore, but it's worth bringing up because it's an iconic game. This week is the 25th retro birthday of the Japanese release for Final Fantasy VIII.
Wow.
1999 that came out. A game that was remastered, but was recently announced as not getting a remake.
I heard about that.
Yeah, rumors were coming out that they were making a remake, to which Square Enix was like, look how long it's taken. Basically, look how long it's taken us to do Final Fantasy VII remake. There were going to be 3 versions of the game, the second of which comes out February 29th of this year.
Yep.
They have no interest in doing anything.
No, I think they said if they wanted to try it, it'll take like 8 years or something like that.
Yeah, so they're not going that route. So happy 25th retro birthday to Final Fantasy VIII.
Awesome.
Yes, and then for the rest of our retro news, I'll go through quickly. Last week or a couple days ago, whatever it was, the trailer for the Knuckles spin-off show on Paramount Plus debuted.
Oh my God, this looks amazing. It drops the end of April.
Yep, April 26th. It will
Okay.
be out on Paramount Plus. And just another thing of note for this is that the spin-off show trailer smashed Paramount Plus viewership records.
Honestly, it looks. I mean, it looks like the movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a
It looks just
six.
like the movie. It's a six-part
It's six episode
miniseries.
event. Yep,
Yep,
and it just looks amazing. Idris Elba is back as Knuckles.
which is great.
And of course the timing is wild because they just dropped a teaser um uh logo reveal for Sonic 3.
Yep.
It's coming out this December in the
Uh,
movies.
yep, December 20th, Sonic 3 is coming out. They've already announced that Jim Carrey will be back as Dr.
Yeah, it's
Robotnik.
kind of. I didn't think they were gonna bring him back, but yeah, he's back.
Nope.
Of course,
Oh,
this one.
you gotta bring him back.
Oh no, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I just figured, not often you
Move
get
on.
these big stars who like do
Mhm.
the full trilogy like this. But yeah, no, he's definitely coming back. Shadow's going to be in this one.
Yep.
So that's going to be really fun. I think you're going to see actually Shadow's kind of making his way back this year. But the Knuckles trailer it looks like a very fun and again very funny.
Funny. Yeah.
That's what I loved about Knuckles in the movie. Like he was so deadpan with like how he is and everything.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward to this, and it looks very good and very funny.
Yes, I agree with that.
What is
So
it?
yeah.
The one scene in the trailer, they're like, well, they got the dog dress up. Like, why do you have the dog dress up? He's going to be battling his most fiercest warrior, and then
Yes.
he opens up a door. It's the mailman.
Yep. That is a great little moment
No,
there.
yeah.
Okay, some other news. Sadly, we've been talking about, this is a 360
Mhm.
related episode, but Microsoft, Xbox has been having some trouble financially. And there've been some interesting rumors out there. We're not going to talk about them here, but what
Mhm.
I am going to talk about is how Xbox recently went through some layoffs,
Mm.
and some of those layoffs included the developer for Spyro, the new Spyro game,
Oh wow.
Toys for Bob. I'm sorry, the developer's name was Toys for Bob, and they are the ones that were working on the new Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games.
Oh wow.
So not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, a lot of weird rumors going around with Microsoft in general. So
Yeah, just Microsoft in general. Apparently, yeah, they're having some trouble.
yeah.
They're having some trouble. We're going to see what happens with that. And in fact, like the trouble I was hearing, like it was almost like level of like Sega trouble, where it's like, are they even going to come out with another system type of thing?
Yeah, I mean the rumors of some of the games coming out on PlayStation now and stuff, but a
Yep.
lot of it is just rumors. Like
Well, no, it's
it's
all
wild.
rumors, but we're going to see. But like for a very long time, Microsoft has been doing, to try and keep up with Sony, they've been doing buy all these
Are,
indie
yeah.
developers as much as you can, so you can
Indies.
get it.
They bought Activision.
Or and yes,
Yeah,
or the
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
third parties. That's what I was looking for, to try and stay competitive. And now now the Microsoft company itself, like the
Mhm.
Xbox company itself, is having issues. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see, Namco's arcade game Ice Hockey from way back in the day. I don't know if you remember this game. Just good old fashioned ice
Namco's.
hockey.
Okay.
Namco made a game Ice Hockey.
Remember.
It was when did that come out? It was an arcade game back in, I don't know, 1988 came out. It will be coming to the Switch and PlayStation Store soon. I'm sorry, the game was called Face Off. My bad. Ice hockey game called Face Off.
Oh, okay. Yes, now I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
a
it's all
little behind today.
right.
The Face Off arcade game will be available on the Switch and the PlayStation 4.
Yes, this one I remember. I don't ever remember seeing it in the arcade.
I remember seeing it in the arcade.
Okay.
I just, and
Been forever.
it was apparently on the Wii Virtual Console in Japan only,
Ooh,
at one
interesting.
point. So, but now it'll be available on the Switch and PS4.
Cool.
So, not sure when it came out. February 8th in Japan. Has not hit the Western stores yet. So, if you were a fan of Face Off, the arcade game, keep an eye out for that. Should be coming out very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Usually they drop like on Fridays. So
Yep. Couple other things. Konami's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the game,
Mhm.
is going to be one of the quarter arcade series games coming out at the quarter. What's the? I'm sorry. The company's name is Quarter Arcades. They're the ones that make the quarter
Oh,
size
the
version
tiny,
of
tiny
them.
ones. Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
tiny
yeah.
arcade. they will be releasing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Turtles in Time.
Ooh.
So you can own yourself a small arcade
A
version
very
of that.
small arcade version.
They're very, yeah, they make them, like I said, they make them quarter size. They have USB slots so you can plug in controllers
There you go.
if you want to play them with a controller. Um, and not the tiny little controllers on the actual thing. So for those of you who love the Turtles games, it's really, really cool. The cabinets also come with a quarter scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles branded stool
That's hysterical.
and a certificate of authenticity and an exclusive postcard. They ship third quarter of this year.
Okay. Sweet.
Okay. For any of you out there who like to either read or collect books on video games, which I do, I don't
Okay.
necessarily read them all the time, but I just like to have them in my collection. Because one day when I don't have a job and I'm sitting in a nursing home with all of my consoles, I will have time to read these things. There is a fan-made Super Mario collection book coming out
Really?
that documents over 9,000 items in the Super Mario
Wow.
milieu, so to speak.
Holy cow.
Yep. So this fan is releasing a book featuring his own photography of his collection,
Okay.
inspired by his passion for graphic design. So the book is available in a blue and red version on Kickstarter.
Oh, it's on Kickstarter. Okay.
Kickstarter, currently the price is 25 euro.
Okay. Oh, here it is.
So yeah, so it looks interesting enough. And again, it's just literally photos of the 9,000 plus things he has in his collection.
Oh,
Uh,
each of the 9,000 pieces is his
yes,
privately.
it's his private collection.
Oh, okay.
His name is Oscar Brown. He started collecting Mario memorabilia at the age of 3.
There you go.
So he is now,
That's
yep, going to
cool.
showcase overnight, and it's just really interesting. It's just
Very
things
nice.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's things like the amiibos, the little
Amiibo.
car, whatever,
Plural of amiibo is
amiibo,
amiibo.
amiibo, the I don't remember what you call the cards that you scan,
Oh, the e-cards.
e-cards,
Yeah.
the e-card, obviously all the consoles and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So just really, really interesting thing. That would
Hmm.
be like if we took a picture of our video game collections. I don't think I can hit 9,000, but I
Can we
definitely,
sell it for like $2 each?
I know. I can easily hit 1,000. Um, and then the last bit of news which came out, we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the Atari 400 Mini will be coming
Yes.
out. Recently announced the 25 games that will be pre-installed
Hmm.
in the Mini. So I'm gonna run through the list really, really quickly. So you will get in the Atari 400 Mini Basketball, Asteroid, Centipede, Missile Command, Miner 2049er, Berserk, Bristles, Capture the Flag, Encounter, Flip and Flap, Mule, O'Reilly's Mine, Wavy Navy, Hover Bubber, Lee, Millipede, The Seven Cities of Gold, Boulder Dash, Electra Glide, Battle Zone, Henry's House, Star Raiders 2, Airball, Crystal Castle, and Yomp.
Wild titles.
Yes.
Just the way they're named. But no,
Yes.
that's very cool, actually,
Well, and don't
for
forget,
that list to come out.
there will also be a flash drive.
Yes.
You can put a
Yep.
flash drive in the
Yep.
system to load ROMs onto this Mini.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in the Atari 400 Mini, keep an eye out for it. Those are the 25 games that are coming with the Mini console, and that will be it for retro news today.
Okay, and the one final thing I just want to mention real fast. We lost a wonderful member of the Super Mario Brothers family, I would like to say, kind of sort of.
Mhm.
From the original live action Super Mario Brothers movie, which should have a place in everyone's heart. Toad. Actor's name was Mojo Nixon. He passed away recently. Actually passed away on February 7th. Again, he was the kind of the guy with the harmonica who's
Yes.
getting thrown into the thing, then turned into Toad. So he didn't actually play Toad in Goomba form, but in any
No.
event, he passed away. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Neil. Here's the interesting part: how it just the world works. His name is, his stage name is Mojo Nixon. His real name is Neil Kirby McMillan Jr.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Yes, that's funny.
So rest in peace, my good man. So the music
Godspeed.
is very weird. But in any event, we'll wrap things up with that.
Did you play the underground theme from Super Mario Brothers when you said that? That's just wrong. And with that,
we're gonna finish. That's really how we should do it. And have a wonderful. One more time. Where can they find us?
Wow, you guys can totally rip me off on that one and complain at facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, at Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify at Retro Gamers Podcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
And with that, we will call it a week and have a wonderful one.
You have a great week as well.
And we will catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.